The police chief, Grill Samuels, but inspiration had struck this evening. Unfortunately, as it waned, Travis Walker's words had come back full force. Again. I pulled back the curtain from the room's window. The view was one of an open plot of land that led to the woods. Tonight, all I saw was darkness. If there was a moon, it was hidden behind thick clouds. Any artificial light from the small downtown businesses didn't eke its way back here, behind the buildings. I closed the curtain. I was antsy, not able to think about reading something for pleasure. I'd loaded some old television sitcoms onto my laptop, but the idea of watching something funny made my skin crawl. I needed to do something. Exercise? Though that would have helped, I decided to opt for some civilization instead. I pulled on a hat, grabbed my coat, and left the room, still double-checking the lock on the door, even after all these months. Actually, triple-checking. The rest of the Benedict house was quiet. My landlord and the woman who ran it, Viola, was probably in her office or her room. It wasn't required that we check in with each other as we came and went, but I often let her know what my plans were. Tonight, I just wanted to go. I slipped on my boots from a pile we left by the front door. These were my newest pair. I'd purchased them from the mercantile 2 weeks earlier, and I didn't think I'd worn anything else since. I glanced down the hallway toward Viola's rooms, but didn't hear or see her, or smell anything coming from the kitchen. We'd had a resident through Christmas, but Ellen had done so well that, with a break in the weather, she was flown back to Juneau and then Anchorage to forge a new life. She'd come to the Benedict house a strung-out junkie, but left a cleaned-up woman with a goal to succeed. She'd wished to stay longer because she'd ended up enjoying her time at the house, but she hadn't been allowed to make those sorts of decisions for herself. Viola had heard that she was still on track. We both hoped she'd be okay, and frankly, we missed her, not to mention her bread-baking skills. I stepped out and into the cold. The ground was covered in snow, hiding the mud that had come earlier in the season. It was frozen solid now, and the crunchy snow wasn't easy to walk or drive through. The small downtown was set up in an L shape. I glanced over to the other leg, seeing that all the businesses had their lights on. Cafe, bar, and mercantile were open. I wasn't hungry, a rare occurrence since I'd moved to Alaska, but a drink sounded good. As I hitched up my coat collar, though, I was stopped short by a double glimmer coming toward me from in front of the buildings. I gasped lightly and zeroed in on the approaching threat. The shine came from 2 eyes. I froze in place as my own eyes adjusted to the diluted darkness. There were no streetlights, but the business windows helped take away some of the gloom. Was it a bear? A second later, I realized it was too short. A wolf? No, that wasn't it either, and I didn't sense it was on the attack, at any rate. With relief, I realized it was a dog, one I'd seen from a distance before. A husky, part of one of the local mushers' teams. I hadn't met the man, who I'd heard was always training for the Iditarod, but I'd seen this particular dog, Gus, I thought his name was, a few times. Gus? I said hesitantly. He trotted directly to me, sat, and smiled upward. Hello, I said, as I patted his head. I laughed. Aren't you ferocious? Gus's tail wagged appreciatively. Gus? A voice hailed from the other side of the buildings. He's here, I called back. Over by Benedict House. I heard the crunch of boots before a man emerged from the shadows. Maybe in his late 60s. He moved well, but with a hitch to his quick step. He's friendly. I know, I said, as he stopped next to the dog. Gus, Gus, Gus. The man reached for the dog's collar and gently pulled the animal toward him. He looked up at me. This is maybe the greatest dog I've ever known, but he's also the smartest and loves to find new ways to escape. I apologize if he bothered you. He didn't. I extended my hand. I'm Beth Rivers. With his free hand we shook. Elijah Wyatt. I'm not sure how we haven't met yet. You must not have needed a tow.